Last vocabulary of this unit, adding all these new words to your vocabulary. So these are all from Sparring Partners or Casey at the Bat if you want to find them in your booklet or in the electronic version. So trepidation, make sure you get the definition and sentences written down. So it is a feeling of anxiety or dread. So it's trepidation. So in the story, the gist of it was Felix was a lower rank and looked at Cole with trepidation. So feeling really worried about facing off against him. Or you might say speaking in public filled her with trepidation. Oh, anxiety, dread, worry. I don't want to do this. I'm scared. Deliberate, carefully considered, said or done on purpose. So it describes something. So it's an adjective. So in the story, it's describing a punch. So unlike the other punch, this one was slow and deliberate. So almost like comparing and contrasting those two. So saying like there was a fast one, but this one, unlike that one, this one was slow and deliberate. So it's like much more carefully done, like considered. It's like, not just like, I'm doing it without really thinking. It's more deliberate. The teacher's words were deliberate as she tried to end the fight. So very like, she thought about them, was very careful in what she said to try to get the students to end the fight. Lots of situations in which your actions could be deliberate. Driving, multiple meaning word alert. Maybe we should like mark those. Because you might say, I know driving's easy. But how it's used in the story talks about like moving forward with great force. So like a driving punch. He delivered a driving punch. Such an adjective describing how things are done or how things are happening. We couldn't see in the driving rain. So the rain was driving. It was coming down with a lot of force. So make sure if you choose this word for your sentence that you choose that definition of it. Not like he was driving a car. Like moving with great force. Defiance. Something none of you would ever show, I'm sure. It's a noun meaning bold disobedience. So not just like you're sneaky and doing the wrong thing, like defiance is like really bold. You could change it into an adjective by saying defiant, like he was really defiant when he stood up to his dad. But defiance is the noun form. It's the thing you are showing. So defiance gleamed in Casey's eye in the poem. So he was like, I'm going to stand up to y'all. I'm going to do something you don't expect me to do. Or maybe a kid, he stuck out his tongue in defiance. So again, like disobeying, not obeying, but really boldly. Grandeur, the quality of being majestic, splendid, or grand. So again, it's a noun. It's, I want to say, a fancier word that we don't hear as often. So he stood in haughty grandeur. So haughty means like you're really prideful. You're kind of arrogant. So he's like standing there being all like majestic and arrogant. He stood in haughty grandeur. Or they were awed by the grandeur of the mountains. It's like how grand and majestic and splendid they are. Last one, doft, can mean removing clothing in general, I've never heard it used like that. I have read it in different books, where it's to like tip or remove your hat in greeting or acknowledgement of somebody. This is my imaginary hat, in case you couldn't tell. So in responding to the cheers, he lightly doffed his hat. Like you're just tipping it a little bit. Or he doffed his hat as the lady passed by. People don't do that as much anymore, but it used to be more common that they would either take off their hat or at least like tip their hat when especially women would walk by to show respect. Any questions about any of the words? If you want to run a sentence by me and say, is this how I'd use this? Because I know I give examples, and you're more than welcome to go look up other examples of your own if you want to see some more. But I get that sometimes it's hard to know how to use it in a new context or in a slightly different context. So I'm more than happy to help you out if you need. Good luck.